Welcome to the third weekend of the MaximumGroup.net VAG Trophy. We're here at the super fast Silverstone GP circuit, home of the British Grand Prix. So, Didge, it's a family affair, isn't it, mate? It's 2.5 years since your last race, is that right?
Yeah, it's been quite some time since we last came out, and to have all three of us here this weekend is awesome. I think, was it a month ago you were out, had a bit of a corporate day, and she absolutely loved it, so kind of like decided to all get back together and get the cars out.
And Amy, this is your first weekend of racing.
Yeah, first ever race.
What was it like yesterday? It must have, it was raining hard.
Yeah, it was pretty miserable. No, it was good. It's brilliant. I mean, we did karting as kids, which was, I guess, 15 years ago. But it's the same as you say. You get strapped in the car and the adrenaline of.
The team was saying they were very impressed yesterday. It was difficult for you, but you got on with it. You finished the race.
Finished the race. That was main objective. As long as I could pass the checkered flag, that's all I was told I had to do. No expectations.
What are you looking for? Are you looking for backup from brother and sister, or, how is it going to look for you?
The threats from Didge, so we've got to keep him away. We've had it before, but starting on second on this, not knowing and not really tested the car, I could be a bit nervous, but we'll see what happens. It's racing, isn't it? Anything can happen in the first corner on Silverstone. So
John, first weekend in the Passat. How are you feeling, fella?
I'm feeling really good, to be honest. The car went out in the wet, and it was feeling really confident in the car. It feels so good compared to the Golf because it's a bigger wheelbase. Yeah, I'm feeling confident, so yeah, it's good.
It's going to be an interesting one for you, isn't it? Because you turned up, the guys only got this finished, didn't they, at like 1:30. You missed the Friday test.
That's correct, yeah. We missed half of qualifying as well, so we only had 2 laps out in quali. Qualified 15th, dropped back to 18th, then I climbed way back up to 10th. So reverse grid, pole position. See how we get on, shall we? We had a few little minor issues with the car, but that's all sorted now, so onwards and upwards, yeah.
Pole position. You've only done you haven't even done a year's of weather racing yet. So tell me, how is it going to go? Are you looking to win? Because the guys have done such a good job. Is it for them? Or is it just, let's get on the podium? Is it a top 6? What's it going to be?
Well, I'm going to try my best to get onto the podium. I'm going to try and hold pole position, obviously, but if I can't, top 3 will be happy. But I'm trying to do it for the team, really. They've worked so hard with the car. It's never been out in the dry. So let's see how we get on in the dry, really. So, yeah, it's unknown. So let's see how we get on in the dry.
Well, John sounds pretty confident, doesn't he, in the Passat? Let's see how he gets on against these other 20 pesky competitors behind him. It's over to Ben in the comms box.
Thanks very much, Paul. So this is the top 10 reverse grid from the very wet race that we had on Saturday. It was claimed by Michael Epps. So John Stevens starts from pole alongside Alex Jurinsky. Then it's Tom Swain and Simon Tomlinson. The rest of them as they finished in race 1. So John Robbins 11th from Paul Ivans. And then it is Damiani Meccano who rounds out the top 20. And Rob Allam who completes the 26-car field. Or rather, a 25-car field. Damiani Meccano in trouble on the formation lap. He won't be ready for the start as away we go. In car with Rob Allam. An excellent start from Allam. We've got one of the cars that's left stranded on the grid, and I think that was possibly Didge Jurinsky in his Golf, who has got away towards the tail of the field as they all pick their way through Copse Corner. Accelerate on towards Beckett's for the first time. Huge field of cars looking very competitive as John Stevens in the Passat leads into Beckett's, and then we have got it all going a little bit sideways behind. Lee Christopher rotates in the bright orange Scirocco. We've got a couple of others who might be in trouble as well as Tom Swain comes under pressure. And there are some big gaps in the field. Oh dear, and a big hit for Mike Harding. He has come into contact with something very solid, most likely Paul Kenwright. So Stevens leads the cavalry charge into Copse Corner. A slightly jumbled order as the safety car comes out as a result of it all going wrong over at Beckett's. I think driver's okay, bank balances possibly not. In car with Chris Mohan, and it all goes wrong in front of him. Around went Paul Kenwright. Mohan just had to guess which direction to travel in. Now this will give us a bigger indication of what happened, and absolutely nowhere for Mike Harding to go. He was completely innocent in all of that. And Rob Allam shows it was just a lottery. Where do you aim? Allam shows the left-hand side, and he got through more or less unscathed. So there is Meccano's car being cleared away as after the marshals have done their usual fantastic job. Time to go racing once more, as it is John Stevens who powers through. He's got Tom Swain in close pursuit, but look for race 1 winner Michael Epps. He is already lurking with intent in 5th position, having made very good progress. We've got Alex and Jurinsky next along, and then it's Epps, and Epps already looking to propel himself past the Jurinskis as they head on towards Beckett's. And Stevens, well, he was confident talking to Paul O'Neill before the race got underway, and at the moment he is managing this very nicely. There's a little bit of a challenge on Tom Swain, a little bit of contact to Tom Swain. He seesaws at the wheel of the Scirocco and keeps it all more or less pointing the right direction as they go 3 wide onto the hanger straight for 3rd place. Frenetic racing this in the VAG Trophy. This is what the Maximum Group VAG Trophy is all about, and the driver who is taking full advantage is Michael Epps as he glides through into 3rd place to the inside of Alex Jurinsky as they turn through Stowe Corner on towards Vale. And so Stevens coming under all sorts of pressure as Epps looks to try and pick his way past Tom Swain if he possibly can as they work their way through Club. It's the Passat that leads from the Scirocco, that leads from the Golf on towards Abbey. In Coa, Tom Swain. He looks to the inside, John Stevens, and takes the lead of the race. Nicely done by Tom Swain. Saw a gap to the inside of Stevens and took full advantage as Tom Walker in trouble. I suspect going to have to finish this race in line with his surname. In car with Paul Ivans as we arrive into the loop. This 6-way fight for the lead. Michael Epps runs wide, Alex Jurinsky runs wide, and Ivans takes full advantage as he eases through into 4th position, heading down the Wellington Straight, where Tom Swain leads the charge. This is one of the best races we have had for some time in the VAG Trophy. Absolutely wild and dicey, but very, very clean. Just really close, evenly matched cars. The corner marker a casualty as Martin Cully in the Beetle joins in the fight as well. Stevens and Jurinsky go side by side through Luffield. Stitch Jurinsky should add with Michael Epps back into 4th ahead of Ivans, but it is the very brightly coloured car of Tom Swain which leads into Cobb's corner. Stitch Jurinsky desperately late on the brakes, back to the inside of Michael Epps, and Jurinsky runs slightly wide, and that is going to bring Martin Cully into the mix as Swain leads the charge into Beckett. Moves through the gears, oh, he's been caught out, and Tom Swain loses control. Around he goes, and Tom Swain spins it away, and given the close bunching of the group, he's lost about 10 places as a result of all of that. Down the hanger straight as the leading group, John Stevens got the advantage. Then it is Paul Ivans, who is demoted by Ditch Jurinsky, who is the latest of the late breakers, and a problem for Martin Cully. The Beetle catches fire. We're in car with Ivans, who is going to be sandwiched on the brakes into the Vale. Jurinsky somehow squeezes past. They avoid contact more or less. Oh, and then they make a little bit of a tap, and that is the car of Martin Cully in all world of trouble as Michael Epps is the driver who's probably taking the biggest advantage of all of this. He is just steadily carving his way up through the field. Another look at Cully's moment. A great shame for the Beetle as John Stevens leads down the Wellington Straight once more. Epps in 2nd, everybody else for 3rd. Alex Jurinsky going to remove to the inside of Ivans, who makes contact with James Pyle. Alex Jurinsky involved in that. Evans continues, which is probably the right outcome because he was completely innocent in all of that as, well, Pyle and Jurinsky joined right into the path of the incoming traffic. That was Lee Christopher, who was able to find the gap that was barely there. Well, barely draw breath as at the front of the field now, down the Wellington Straight for the final time, Michael Epps has been able to find a way past John Stevens, and both Epps and Stevens have kept their heads whilst others have maybe been a little bit over-ambitious on more than one occasion, and it is going to be Michael Epps who will make it 2 from 2 in the MaximumGroup.net VAG Trophy here on the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. Epps takes the win from Stevens in second place. That'll be Paul Taylor who completes the podium. Great drive from Paul Taylor, holding off Ditch Durinsky late on. And in Group B, Rob Allam, the winner. What an absolutely breathless race. Let's take a look at the results then, with Michael Epps winning it from John Stevens and Paul Taylor. Ditch Durinsky in fourth and Paul Ivans completing the top five. Lee Christopher recovering from his early spin to finish in eighth. Rob Allam claiming Class B honours from Chris Mohan and Barry Cully. So on to the Silverstone podium, and time to let rip with the champagne on the rostrum for the Class A runners. As for Class B, they appreciate the vintage of the MSVR bubbly, decide to savour it.
Paul, you're back on the podium, mate. That was an interesting race by the sounds of it, mate.
Oh, that was an interesting race. From finishing 15th yesterday after going off to coming back through to be in third, the Taylor Heating car was absolutely flying today. It was some good racing, there was some carnage out there, and we just stayed clean of it all. Tried to latch onto these two boys beside me.
Wasn't it? I thought you were going to do it, mate.
But it's a teammate, so what can I say? He's happy. I'm happy for him as well. So, it was good. It was good.
You didn't let him pass, though, did you? It was at Aintree, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did put a big battle on, but yeah, he just come out of nowhere, really. I was like, oh, dear. But I'm still happy. I'm happy. So, yeah, I'm good.
One of the guys was diving inside every single corner, and I was thinking, I really want to save my car for the next race because I really don't want any more damage. But, yeah, quite good by the end. Managed to get around the scrap and caught up to John. Followed him round for a lap, and he ran slightly wide off of Village, I think, and I just put it out the inside.
There's a couple of non-starters stuck on the grid that we had to avoid, and then there was a bit of a punch-up round the first complex. I saw Chris get a little bit of a tag. Mike Harding unfortunately got a right clout, and I stayed clean and came out just behind Chris.
A spectacular race there. Join us after the break for race 2 of the VAG Trophy.